Hey, good evening. I'm Mutgren and welcome to Dad's Old Shop. And it is hot. I also don't know why that is that color. That's cutting off part of the screen. I don't like that. I had a chat box set up and it didn't remember stuff, so we're just gonna move that. There we go. I don't want to deal with that right now. So I'm here in a very hot basement because my basement is always hot, especially because I have to run a dehumidifier, which is an air conditioner, but without the cold part. And we are here for this thing. This old butte. Should have put a mark down. Feels so silly. So these are a pair of garden shears that I use. And every year I forget to do something to make sure they don't rust. I mean, like I clean them and oil them, but after a year of not of non-use before I actually get into actual like cutting and stuff like that, this happens. So they still move. They're not like seized or anything. So I'm just trying to make sure my mic placement's okay. I don't like seized up or anything, so I'm gonna move a button here. Found out a lapel mic works better when you have a lapel. Who would have guessed? I'm just trying to make sure I don't tap it here. So we are going to just, sorry, I got sidetracked. This is something that I use a lot when stuff gets growing and I need to get in there to start weeding. But it can be dangerous to just grab and start weeding things next to plants that you want because they put out tendrils, the leaves get intertwined, so you just end up yanking. So with this, I can cut really low to the ground, and then I can worry about working stuff up that way. Also, you cut stuff small enough, if the canopy cover of the stuff that you're growing is big enough, it won't have the energy to come back. Not perfect solution, stuff does, especially stuff that has tubers, but it'd be nice to just have the option. Earlier in the season, I could get away with using my sickle, but can't do that now. Didn't restore it on the stream, but very nice. Also, if we do have time, and time is not a hard limit, it is more based on how hot I get down here. I do want to start cutting out some of the blocks for the front of the bellows, the blacksmithing bellows. I had them in the vise here because I chalked it up, did a layout line, did a cut, and then went, I don't have a 2-inch hole saw, and we're going to do it a different way. One that might be more fun, more period appropriate to make a hole. So we'll see. So first things first with this is getting, well, very first thing is getting the spring out of the middle off. Spring in the middle off, off the middle. I feel like I'm just talking in circles. Well, probably comes better off this side. So just a little nub, just held in place with the nub. I could do a whole rust removal thing, but honestly, once we get down to it, I'm just trying to unscrew it, basically unscrew it, is once we are able to scrape off all this, it should act as kind of a patina against future rust. Come on, there we go. I'm just like looking over my hands because I got, where was it? Here. I don't think you can see that super well, and also it's healed up quite a bit. Sorry, light's kind of blowing it out. I was in the car, yeah, mostly healed, last week, and I went, man, I need a toothpick, something fierce, and I didn't have any toothpicks. I say that hesitantly, but for lunches at work, I have plastic spoons that I just keep in my car. So I'm like, sure, I'll just snap one of those in half and just use that. And I did that and immediately just sliced my finger. It wasn't too bad, but... So that was fun. And then I remembered I do have toothpicks. They were just in the console because being impatient. Hey, what's up, Suki? Yeah, they have seen better days, but we're gonna get them back to where they need to be. And I'm actually going to just get a bucket of sand and put a bunch of WD-40 in it, and hopefully not have this problem for a while. Although there's something I've been wanting to fix, and I feel like I should have a pair of needle nose pliers for this. A while ago when I was fixing them, I closed them and I had squished the latch, and I really just need a pair of pliers just to flatten them. And vice grips are kind of like pliers, but angry. So we're just going to see if we can hook that there. Just bend this without breaking this loop. Because that is the... I think it is actually a pair of needle nose that I'll need. And I have them upstairs. I don't know where I put them. I was, this is working. I was doing a fair amount of stuff with the shower stuff. I talked with one of my friends who has a like regular filament 3D printer to replace. It's like an attachment to the shower to help lower the shower head for my child. And it is cracking because it's made out of resin 3D print. Resin 3D prints are just, they're more meant for miniatures than they are for anything else. Yeah, I'm just gonna, instead of breaking that, we're just gonna hang out there. They're more meant for detail than sturdiness. So he has a filament one, and I gave him the file, and he's gonna get that ready for me. But I was using the needle nose pliers to get some of the measurements and stuff like that together. So we're just gonna do this a quick and dirty way. Just gonna WD-40 all this stuff. And then we're just gonna use sandpaper because we just want to get it close enough. So where's my mark? There's a mark. I also like this orientation because it doesn't show. Oh man, did I just get WD-40 all over my drink? I did. I mean, you could probably drink some WD-40. Right? That's fine. All right. So we're just gonna pretty quick go with pretty fine grit sandpaper because I don't want to go too hard. Definitely will look worse before it looks better. And also hope I don't get any of the slosh on the camera. Should think of getting like a protective cover for the camera. As well, it's not the most expensive part of my setup. I don't want to replace it. All right, that's a nice slush there, nice sludge. Looks like something you would see Captain Planet beating up people for, dumping into a river, something like that. That beautiful shade of sludge. As I use the last of my paper towels, I'm just gonna see where it's at. Okay, it's pretty good. Get it there. There we go. So, doesn't take much. I don't mind about the rusty spots up farther on the handle because like that's not a functional spot. I am going to rub this just a little bit more. Yeah, I was looking for your stream. I figured something came up. I was getting ready, and I was like, well, I got like an hour. What can I watch? It happens. All right, and I WD-40 this bolt and realized I probably don't even need to. That's fine. We're just going to get a little messy there. All right. So, I'm not going to reuse this paper. I was looking at the sandpaper like I was going to reuse it. That was a lie. That'd be a lie. All right. So, next we're going to come in with the Scotch-Brite, just a finer grit of grit. And this one's going to get my hands oily. But do this surface, because this surface needs to be polished, because it's the cutting surface, or at least the end of it is. I wonder what grit Scotch-Brite is. I could probably look that up. Because I think red is coarser. I just remember using a lot in kitchens. Like this stuff was gold for doing blacktop cleaning. Alright, and then the other blade. And then we got to get to the sharpening part, because I definitely have decoupled some edges probably. Mostly by just letting it get to this rusty looking state. But on the upside, I see we got a fair amount of patina under it. So, even if it doesn't always look it, patina can be helpful because it's basically a layer of rust that is less rusty. It inhibits, it's like a space of polished rust, because polish is also like an opposite of rust. That's a dumb way of putting it, but it's harder for polished surfaces to rust. Can still totally happen, but just less likely. Oh man, I had another roll of paper towels? Never mind, I'm a genius. Thought about this ahead of time. Alright, let's get this only mess out of here. We can probably go to reassemble and then the testing to make sure that we got the cutting edge together. Because the worst state that these can be in is when you go to do that snip of a plant that you like and it just like drags instead of cutting cleanly. Yeah, I'm tired of the humidity, man. I'm tired. That's part of why it's so hot down here now. Where did I put under the WD-40? No, it's not where it belongs at all. So, I don't know why I'm doing this with one hand. Okay, I just forgot what that washer went. Now I know. Now I remember. I definitely haven't had these for multiple years, and every year repair them, and every year forget the exact order. Okay. Making sure I'm not chewing up the thread here. I feel like I might be. Yeah, really easy to do once I've covered everything in WD-40 too, to do the tightening here. I'll just make a try to get it. There we go. And where's my vices? It's just like I have to race between different spots because like my upstairs just has terrible insulation. And I've had to get up to 120 up there. So it's like if I don't get back soon enough to stream or do something in the office and I don't get the AC on soon enough, that room is unlivable. And down here, it gets stuffy and there's no airflow. But that's summer. Okay. So that should be together enough. And I'm sure I have a manual here. Yeah, I do. Here we go. Let's just see where it's at. Okay. Okay. So, on the end, the alignment's really good, the snip's really good. But for farther back, it's having it, well, in the middle. It's been, when you go all the way back, it seems to be okay. But the middle's having issues. So, we're going to put our hands in it. And just see what we're feeling. And if I cut off the tip of my finger, oh well. Okay, there's just a hollow there. Why is there a hollow in the... I guess of all places for a hollow to be, in the middle of a blade isn't that weird, but... Hollow, huh? Alright, let me go get more sandpaper. And this one, this is a sharpening grind now. So, I'm just going to... here we go. Take some blue. And just... Now, where do I have for a flat surface? Usually I have something that's flat enough around here. This board. This will do. So I'm just going to plop that on there. Brace that there. Yeah, I don't know how people like being out in the summer. Like, my wife is definitely enjoying it. And I love that for her. She's like, you want to go out into a carnival? It's like 90 degrees and 80% humidity. It's going to thunderstorm. I'm like, no, I love you, but no. Yeah, you can kind of see it here. So I painted blue just so that when I did that lapping, you could see where it was left behind. That front is just I wasn't pressing down a lot, but in the middle here where I was getting a lot of pressure, there's that hollow. So we want to do the front a little bit more. And these don't need to be precision tools. I just want to get a slightly better snip there. All right. So let's go on the other side, do the same thing. Oh. Okay. So on this side, there is almost no hollow. Like there's a little bit back here, but that was a bit harder to just scrub down on the hole pull. So it's mostly the other blade, this one, that has a hollow. Probably that dark spot there, that's probably the high spot. So I'm just gonna hit that high spot a little bit more. I wonder if that developed or if that was a consequence of my early sharpening habits. All right, so now we're just gonna wipe the grit off those. Get them re-oily, I guess. Love re-oily. I mean, they're gonna get oiled anyway. Epic Gardening made a video that's just like sand, WD-40, and I have a bunch of sand out there because I need it for blacksmithing, which I really want to get into. Really, if I had more time, I'd be out there doing it now. But I didn't have time to complete the bellows. And I have my old bellows, but I really, when you see such a change on the horizon, you don't want to go back to the old familiar, right? So let's get this. There we go. Oh, is the tip giving me issues now? No? Oh, that's my holding it. I was twisting it. Okay, so there still is a little bit of a hollow spot, like right here. Like right there. I bet you it's on this side. Alright. Oh, fall will be perfect for it. The only downside about fall is the drunken wasps. They go around getting the fermented stuff and then just like get angry at you. Alright, let's get paper. Just to double check. Yeah, just right there. Let me tighten these up a little bit more. That might also be part of it. Because it's kind of fine if they scrape against each other, because that's also, in a way, self-tightening. There we go. That was a much better cut. And I see the tip. There we go. Okay, so tip's fine. Still got a little bit of a bow, but I'm sure that'll work itself out as I wrench down on this and get the spring back in it. Usually I'm using this just to get grasses down. Because grasses are the things that kind of grow the most around me that bother my plants. I mean, other stuff definitely does. Good news in the gardening front, I got my sweet potatoes to grow. I didn't realize that they were sweet potatoes. I went out yesterday to look at the garden, do a little bit of weeding, picked a bunch more peas, which was cool until I dropped them all after putting them in the freezer. I went to go take something else out of the freezer, dropped them all on the floor. Don't want hairy frozen peas. GG. You know, but I went to the spot where I had planted them, and they hadn't been doing anything for weeks, and I was like, they might just not be active. Might not be the right soil, might not be the right temperature, time, anything like that. And I get back there, and I see a bunch of morning glory. So I'm pulling the morning glory, because, you know, death to morning glory. And there's these big wide leaves that I've never seen before. I'm like, this is new. And I follow them back, and boom, that's where I planted the sweet potato. So I have a little bit more to go, but part of it, why I wanted those there is because I heard they're voracious, and I need something in that spot that will compete with everything in there, which hopefully that takes the trend. Also, I got a, what do you call that? A curcubidae. I don't know which one. Just since I got the stuff out here, just hitting this. Not sure which one. A couple weeks ago, I planted something in that family. I don't know if it was a melon, don't know if it was cucumbers, don't know what it was, but I only knew I planted them because they were in a straight line. But they're grown enough actually to move them off of the lawn itself. Um, so happy to see those because they'll also take up that space. Tomatoes have grown past everything that was trying to block them. So we're finally hitting the good part. And also the corn is about knee height, almost. So hopefully by time of my usual summer party, I can have some corn that was grown by us. So what I'm going to do now is just move some of the stuff here a little bit. Yeah, I haven't had great luck with corn in the last year. I've been growing it for like 4 years. Last year was the second worst year I've ever had, besides the first year that I ever grew. Last year, I think it was because it had rained a lot when it was tasseling. So I think that made it hard for it to find pollen and have it stick. So I think that was the issue because I didn't get out. It was so wet I didn't get out there to, because usually I take a paintbrush and take stuff from the tassel and put it onto the silks, just to help make sure that everything gets fertilized correctly. And didn't do that because it was so wet. So this year, even if it rains, I'll just suck it up, even though I hate being rained on. Corn is a good crop. It does take up a lot of space, and I don't know. I might not grow it next year because it does take up a lot of garden space because it also wants to get planted really densely. I am going to take a quick break just to reorient my camera real fast because we have a bit of time. It's not super hot here. And I'm going to re-up. Oh, is that a black screen? Did I not? Oh, well, it'll say starting soon instead of the actual back screen. Just because I want to get a better view on this. Oh yeah, cabbage is a big space taker. A lot of broccoli also. Yeah, it's. I like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it, and corn is one of the few vegetables that both my wife and daughter will eat. So I like growing it. That's probably the only reason I still grow it, is because it's one of the few things I know that they will eat. So I can actually take this out of the device to show it. This is going to be part of the front block where the end of the bellows is. So the rest of the bellows will be this way. It'll be funneling air this way into a pipe. My hand is a pipe. So I just quickly did a cutout, thought of a way of doing it by getting like a 2-inch saw, hole saw, and doing that. And kale doesn't take up much space. I might look into that. I mean, only I would eat that, but I mess with some kale. I would like to grow collard greens, but once again, I'll be the only one who eats them, and I can only eat so many collard greens. But I thought of a better way of doing it, or more thematically appropriate, just because I don't want to deal with moving a 2-inch hole saw by hand. I have the hole saw from when I did a different project. And with a regular, drill, it's fine. But moving a 2-inch hole saw by hand would be a nightmare. And getting a 2-inch auger is a lot more expensive than I would like it to be. Partially just because auger bits aren't as common as they used to be. So what we're going to do is, like this, we're going to take a cut to split it out. Man, this light is very bright. Let me turn this down. It's aggressive. we're going to cut it down the way. And then if you see on the mark, there's still a little bit of a, focus on the board, please. A little bit of a pencil mark. Like a round on both sides. There we go, like a round. So I have a plane that is not meant for this. It is not a decorative plane, like how that would be. Coping plane. I could also use a coping saw, but I feel like it's a pain in the butt. But this blade in this plane has a pretty good scoop to it. Probably roughly what I need for that, just because that needs to fit the 2-inch pipe that's going to come out of there. And there's going to be a part behind it as well, like another block to make it wider. And it's going to shrink down from like a really shallow 4-inch wide hole that like kind of scoops in to that narrow 2 that exits. And I'm going to figure something else about a flap just to make sure that we don't have any back air. I don't think we will, but I'd rather be redundant and not setting a bellow on fire than gung-ho and setting a bellow part on fire. And it's fine if I set a bellow part on fire. I probably will at some point. I mean, it is going to be a canvas bellow. I gotta move saw bench back. It's funny, I have a bench made specifically for sawing, but I can never use it on stream because it's like a full body experience. All right, I'm a little off, but that's fine. This is rough work. We're not finishing it here. Also, this is why it's important when you have a vise to have a sacrificial part on it, as I've cut into my vise many times, even just now. I've done it twice with each of these. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some scoring here using the whole kerf as a guide. There we go. Now I have my lines on the other side. Not that these are perfect lines, but there we go. Oh, that was quite the pop. The pull saws are made from good stuff, but I have blown the teeth off of some people. Usually it's a thinner piece that you can blow a teeth off of, but I've of this style also just taken a couple. I use that one that I had blown off teeth for the because, like, once again, I have power tools to do that. Sometimes you just don't want to have the noise. I think I'm through and I'm just sawing. Okay, I'm not. I'm like 80% of the way through. There we go. Yeet. All right, so that is that one. It's not perfectly smooth, but that's fine. We're going to just chalk this up in the vise. Oh, perfect. I can use the offcut. Or the other side as a, what do you call that? A thing to stop, ooh, yeah, good. Yours is held up well. I think I was being pretty rough on it. I think they're pretty good tools. All right, so we're gonna try to get a small shaving here. We're gonna see what we can do. Just trying to hit the center. I swore I had my little hammer here. Ah, it's behind stuff. That's okay. We can use other things. Pretty heavy. Okay, just backing it out there. We'll see what we can get with this. Oh, it needs to be a bit thinner. Cutting through end grain is not this plane's specialty. So we're really just trying to nudge it in the right direction. Also remove the wedge without. That's another thing about wood planes that is an issue, is when it gets humid, the wedges swell. So they kind of get locked in place sometimes. Okay, I think that's good. We're going to see if I can do what I want. Otherwise, I'm just going to cut a V into it, and we're going to call that V close enough. Oh yeah, that's, I'm gonna blow this piece in half if I do it this way. Oh, I can also do a coping saw, I guess. What are the buttons here? They're pretty shallow. Yeah, I could probably do a coping saw. So, just say goodbye to my knuckles. I knew ye well. I've had a good time with you, Knuckles. So I'm just going to slam him into something whilst I'm not sleeping. Just over here. Let me just... Ow, the blade is hot. There we go. Wasn't tension right because I haven't used it in a while. Okay. Oh, all right. So how am I doing on keeping the line there? Okay, I'm not doing too bad. Like, the awful part about the coping saw is just that, especially when using a big piece like this, it has terrible clip, what do you call that? Chip clearing. So there's a bunch of sawdust in there, which means I can't progress really. So, just gonna pop off the waste. And this doesn't need to be perfect because it's going to be wrong and I'm going to have to do hand fitting on it anyway. So, whew, you could smell how hot that's getting. Oh man, that's melting the rubber. That blade got hot enough to melt that rubber on that mallet. And Harbor Freight will take that back. They'll be like, yep, that's under warranty, melting it with a coping saw. Oh, bless you, Harbor Freight. I need to take a trip there because I need some more axes for the summer party that I do. We do axe throwing, and the best place to get axes that I don't care about ruining is there. And they're pretty good quality, actually. They in general, they hold up. And when they break, it's because we're abusing them. I just want to get this started on this end. There we go. Whew. I've been able to go to the gym for a couple weeks just because we've had scheduling stuff come up. But that's why I do hand tooling. It is its own workout. All right, same problem with chips here. There we go. Also, it's just hot in this basement. It's so hot in this basement, I'm not wearing shoes. Which seems like a bad idea because it is, but I don't want them. again, hot enough. You could probably brand yourself with that if you wanted a brand of a saw blade. You ever do that as a kid? Get like a branding tattoo? I used to do that with paper clips. It's very stupid. Very dumb. Kids do dumb things. Although I see that getting tattoos are like becoming a professional thing. Yeah, splitting firewood is fun too. Like, you're like, yeah, I've done this to make fire. Like, you just get that like a sense of like manly accomplishment. Ooh. I feel like my lines are very close to the other and they're just like sliding by like less than an inch. By less than like a eighth of an inch. Like the frost branding and stuff like that they do for animals. People's doing it to get tattoos. You know, I'm all for self-expression. A lot of it just seems so wild and out there. But that's why it's not for me, I guess. I really just want to get this part off. Come on. All right, I'm going to actually have to give this a big chop, I think. 1, 2. There we go. I was like right there. Perfect, perfect. And I don't mean perfect in the sense that the cut is in any way on the lines that I set. Perfect, and that, I'm almost done. And I can probably finish this with the chisel. There we go. So, I don't really expect it to happen. We have a roughly angled thing, which obviously isn't correct, but that's fine. It is sort of on the line. I have a little bit here. So this is probably actually just fileable. Pretty sure I have a wood file here. I'm definitely rubbing up against my mic here. Let me take a second to just move that real fast. All right, cool. Probably sounds slightly different. Hopefully it's not terrible, but it should prevent any terrible rustling sounds. So, I'm going to take a file into here and try to follow the line. Okay, cool. So this is just a half moon file for woodworking. And there's a spot over here that's high. So actually I'm just going to cut a little notch in here so that my file has something to run on. So you're going to fight me on that, okay. That's another project with just handles for files and stuff. You can buy them usually at what do you call those? The Habitat for Humanity stores, Restores, Rehome. Like this circle file I have. They sell these handles. Usually it's overstock. And this was, I think, like $1. And you just melt them in. They're pretty good. Ooh. Rasps are, I feel, really hit and miss. Like, I think if you were to go to Harbor Freight right now and get a set of woodworking rasps, you would end up with some weird stuff. Their files would be fine. But, like, the things that make a rasp good are just harder to get in mass market. I have a couple, and I guess they work. but they don't, sounds stupid that they don't leave a good finish, but the fact that they leave such a poor finish means you have so much more work to do when you get to the final stage. That you, with how aggressive a lot of the off the big box files are to start with, you might as well just start it with a file. All right, we're getting there. Got a little bit of a hump. Also, I want to try to get some time in tonight. I have a Starfinder game that I'm running with a couple people that are new to the game, including the person who made my VTuber model. This is Luna. So we started it last week, and it'll probably take a couple months to get done. It's probably out. And it's been fun, but I need to do more prep. But I want to make sure I have enough time on Saturday. You know how time goes. All right, so I'm doing pretty good here. I have a bit of a hump. But I am pretty close to going. Oh, ouchies. Just banged my finger right near the end of that. Thankfully, there was no splinters. Can I catch you? Are you catchable? Yeah, okay, I can catch you through. I don't even need to worry about it because this is just where there's passing. Okay, so after a few minutes of filing, there's that little hump in the middle which kind of annoys me, but it's a lot better than it was. I'll just try from this side for a minute. The nice part about filing is it can start burnishing the parts. So when you go to the next steps, it can make it a really nice, solid feeling finish. All right. Whew. So that's much better. So once again, still not perfect, but a lot better. I think I have a rasp somewhere here. Or did I put it away? I don't use them very much. I mean, I have your standard 4-in-1 rasp I think is great. This has two sides for rasp. One is a curved side, the other part's flat. And these are perfectly adequate. Like I could probably use them to, yeah, I don't want to mess up the finish on this, but thank you for falling onto the floor. It's exactly where I wanted you. So, for this piece, I'll chuck you in so you don't. This is the downside about my vise design, is that it wants to rack because the center screw is off center. Okay, perfect. So I always just got to get something to keep it honest. Okay. So Ingrain's also tough for these, but you're starting to get a good start there. It doesn't have a lot of clip clearance, but these are, I think, perfectly fine. The only rasp that I use on a day-to-day, and it's more in the rough passes, is the Shinto rasp there. This is the big box variety version of it. Has a coarse and fine side. It's really good. It hogs through material. It's great for when you're trying to get stuff right. It's terrible when you're putting it back in its storage spot. So it scratches up its storage rack, but besides that, it's great. And actually, let me switch to a different half-round file here and hope that saw doesn't fall. Yeah, cool. Yeah. So, that 4-in-1 file with a rasp is, ow, that's hot, is one of the rasps, mass market rasps that I already think is better besides the Shinto rasp. And we're going to change this here. With those couple strokes from this bigger file, we've already gotten more blown out of color, but we've already seen more depth taken off there. So they just don't cut as well, and they leave a worse finish. When you get into actual like good vintage rasps or higher quality rasp, which will probably set you back a bit, they do a lot better. A lot of it is orientation of the teeth and just how they do chip removal. As with most things, most things hand tool related, chip removal is kind of your biggest hurdle. You can have sharp stuff, it can move stuff, but if you can't get the stuff out of the way that's in front of it, it's not going to do it. Come on. I just want that to be really secure. There we go. The bench doesn't creak when I do that. It's not tight enough. I'm trying to get the overhang here. Just explosions of wood here. We use the wood side here. I also have stuff to make a mallet. It's another project. The rubber mallets are fine, but I end up using the handle half the time. Come on up. All right. You know what would have been smart probably when I was doing the coping stuff, like I'm going to do here? Oh yeah, estate sales. Man, I just have a hard time waking up that early, getting out of the house. Like, just because like people that are really good at estate sales are there at like 8 o'clock. And on a weekend, I just want to, like, I can't, do it too long, family and all, but so I just want to get out of the house at 9, and by then anything that I want is pretty much gone. Not always. But estate sale people are warriors now. Built different. What I'm just doing is I'm just cutting a relief halfway through. So that when I bring the coping saw around, it'll just start, I'll just start that cut automatically. So I won't be trying to make a half scoop cut. I'll be making 2 quarter moon scoop cuts. Actually, I should probably do it from the inside. Just because I drew it to the corner, and the corner's like impossible to start on. I would take a drink, but I don't want to drink any WD-40 because I was careless earlier. Whew. Ooh, that's another thing about coping saw blades. Because they're so thin, they don't have a lot of mass, they get hot really easily. And because they get hot easily, they stretch. They get like wide and loose. So like you always need them tighter than you can get them. Because as you actually start working with them, they start getting slack. You know what, it's probably not that much of a poison, you're right. Okay, it didn't taste too bad. I just don't want to run and get another bottle of water or nothing. Oh. What's a little WD-40 when you're filled to the brim with microplastics anyway, right? Oh. I don't know why I do that and then not expect there to be dust everywhere for me to breathe in and taste. It's simple man behavior. All right, pretty close to that line. And let's just get the other side done, and then that'll probably be the night. Actually, what if I just keep going continuous from this point? All right. This way I don't have to start on the corner again. Oh, let me knock over the stuff on the bench here. Whew. Definitely jam my finger there. I'll survive. I could probably just do this, right? Alright. Got the home stretch, sort of. Alright. Whew. Oh. I hit the top of that. I didn't mean to hit that. All right. From the other side a little bit later, probably, as I continue to realize the gravity of what I have. But see, this is already a bit nicer than the previous one. So these will go like this and form the circular outlet once I, get it to be more of a circle. There'll be a board above and below this, and this will be the outfeed side, the 2-inch outfeed. And to the back of it, there'll be another part. That'll be 4 inches that will condense down to 2. So it'll be twice as wide, and it'll be a gentler scoop. Like, it'll be bigger and then shallow and yada. Whew, I am bushed. All right, well, thank you for joining me today at Dad's Old Shop. I've been Mutgren, and hopefully when you got to do something, it's a good time. I don't think I have time to stream over the weekend, depending on weather. Next stream will either be more My Summer Car or doing more blacksmithing projects. I've really enjoyed My Summer Car. I've been wanting to play a game for years. Terrible at it, but starting to get the hang of it. It's a good break from real life. Well, again, thanks for joining me, and have a good time.